I was like, remember this.
Well, I usually do sit on the edge. People usually just, I don't know, that's whatever.
It was comfy, but shit ate me, so.
Yeah. Well, I was watching our clip from last time, and I don't even think you were into tattooing at that time.
I had no idea I was going to be a tattoo artist. Yeah.
Oh, Avery just got here. Hey, what's up? What's good? What's good? This is Avery. This is Corinna. Yeah, y'all can just chill. So I think at that time you didn't even. Well, so you're saying you didn't even know at that time that you were going to get into tattooing.
No, I mean I can give you a little like backstory on tattooing existing in my life before this.
Because I know you as a muralist and a painter.
Yes, and I still am too.
Okay, yeah.
I'm currently on a mural in Ocean View on an Airbnb. And then I am doing something for the city of Chesapeake. And then after that, I'll be working with some residentials.
Okay.
So it's been nice because all the work that I put in with getting clientele as a muralist kind of has paid off because now it's less cold calls and more people reaching out to me, which is what I wanted. I think I might have even said that last time. Yeah. But
what's the backstory for tattooing?
Yeah, it's weird. So when I was 19 years old, there was one tattoo shop in the town that I grew up in, middle of nowhere, Ellington, Connecticut. And it was like I was under the guise that I was going to get an apprenticeship with paperwork signed off. And I spent over a year of my time in this tattoo shop, Saturday mornings, 19 years old, scrubbing tubes. And, he kind of just never followed through on the paperwork and I gave up. That happens to a lot of people. A lot of people don't just have one apprenticeship apparently. But so I went to 7 cities because my esthetician said that her husband had painted a mural and that she wanted me to go teach him essentially how to price murals. And the conversation started going this is how you price murals. What are you trying to do with murals? And then we spoke for 30 minutes and it ended with do you want to be a tattoo apprentice? And I was kind of shocked because I had no idea that this was going to come back into my life as a career again. And at that point, I'm okay, it must be meant for me. And I've always kind of been around tattoos. My best friend's a tattoo artist. So then I just kind of took the leap and said yes. And I was I'm just going to learn tattooing and I'll still get to do my murals, run the LLC. And it took all of my time and my life changed completely.
Is that usually how it is for people getting into tattooing? It's hard to find an apprenticeship. People don't want to give you a shot because you're new or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel even customers because I think one of my tattoos I've gotten it might have been by Apprentice, but it is a weird feeling so wait, you're practicing on me? Are you not good at this yet?
I get it. Yeah, I've been tattooed by a lot of apprentices actually. I think there's 5 pieces on my body that have been done by apprentices, but I just got them because I walked into a shop and they were who was available and they were really far along on their apprenticeships. So I didn't really think anything of it, but it's funny now that I've been tattooed by so many apprentices and then became one and I get it. And yeah, we are kind of practicing, but that's that beautiful relationship between you and someone else where they're the first couple of tattoos you do, you're never going to forget them.
Well, I'll never forget the pain because people told me people always, I feel we're trying to be cool. Tattooing doesn't hurt, but it hurts me.
Tattooing hurts.
Yeah, I got one on my stomach right here. And when
That's
you got
crazy.
on my hip bone, bro, I literally thought about to pass out. 'Cause I took a water break.
Yeah.
And I stood up and I was so lightheaded and he was like, yo, you good? I was like, I'm not really sure.
You hold your
Let me
breath?
take a break for a second.
You held your breath a little
Maybe.
bit?
I'm not sure. Because also it was right here. So I'm trying not to breathe too crazy.
I don't have that. I don't even have that. That's crazy. I got my neck in
Well, my first tattoo ever was on my neck.
Really?
Both my first tattoos were on opposite sides of my neck. So one was in LA, which I will say, not to cut the story off, but my very first tattoo actually didn't hurt, even though it was on my neck. But
yeah.
She was telling me it was because it was some new style gun. You might know about this. So apparently the new style guns hurt way less than the old style guns.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're a little bit less intense.
So you come from this place in Connecticut. What's the place called?
I don't know if I should say because I don't have many positive things to say about it.
Well, you said it, but I forgot.
But Ellington, Connecticut is the town,
Ellington.
but the shop, I think it still exists.
Yeah,
and
but they didn't want to give you a shot.
No, but thank God they didn't because who I learned under Mike Vasquez and the artists at 7 Cities, I really believe that it gave me the best shot at being the best artist that I can be. I mean, July 1st is 1 year of tattooing on human skin. So It's new. It's new to me. I'm still learning. I still have a long way to go. I can admit that. Tattooing is not like something you learn rapidly. That's why they kind of mark you by the decade. But I think that I had a better shot at becoming a better artist because who I learned under.
What is the biggest like learning curve coming from like just because you could be a good artist on paper, drawing stuff. Like what is the most challenging part about taking your skill at like drawing onto skin?
It's like the needle depth matters a lot because if you go too deep, you could blow out. Human skin is the craziest canvas that I've ever had to learn how to like use because different parts of the body act differently. I think I could just bump this. But different parts of the body have thinner skin. Skin is more like, they say jelly kind of, and you have to kind of go with...
You're good.
Sorry, I feel like I do this every time.
That's what I'm known for.
I feel like I move away from the mic.
No, you're perfect. You're perfect. So you're saying human skin is tough
It's just
to work
weird
with.
because different parts of the body are weird. It reacts weird. Your art can look really nice the first time that you do it, and then they come back in like 3 weeks and it's healed and it looks totally different. And you're like, what happened? So you have to not only learn how to apply it well so it looks good initially and they're happy. You can't make mistakes. Mistakes happen. Because, like, that's why we buy art from human beings because of that, like, handmade touch. That's why hand-painted signs are better than decals, in my opinion. But
the beauty is in the imperfection.
It's in the imperfections for sure. But you have to learn how to move with the entire healing process and then set them up, like, for success for 10 years down the road. You know, you don't want to do something that you know is going to look bad in the future. So kind of just learning about the healing process, human body, flow with it. Flowing with the human body has been my biggest kind of challenge because I knew how to paint human bodies before because I had a lot of nude women in, like, as my main subjects. But actually flowing with the curvature and muscles and everything, it's really crazy. Yeah,
it might be hard to, you know, get that art right on the BBL.
I could do it, though.
It's a lot of curves on it.
I could take care of the BBL baddies.
Come on.
Yeah.
So I guess this meeting you had with 7 cities.
Mike Vasquez.
Was that before our last episode?
No. This all has happened.
Because I thought that was like when you moved, like you first moved here around that time.
No, so July 1st marks 8 years of living in Virginia Beach. I'm from Connecticut originally, but yeah.
Oh, so you tried to go to the other tattoo shop back in Connecticut since our last episode? And then came back again. No,
that story of that first apprenticeship, and I put quotes because sincerely I don't feel that it was really a real apprenticeship. That was when I was 19 years old.
So that was before you even came.
So the fact that I'm finishing up my real apprenticeship now at 29, literally a full 10 years later, is pretty surreal. And I approached it differently this time too. Like when I was, when we were discussing making it serious and really working for him, I was really adamant about paperwork. Because, you know, to anyone out there listening that wants to be an apprentice, get your paperwork, make sure that it's all documented because my first one wasn't and I wasted over a year of my life. So
what's important to be in the paperwork?
DPOR, to get a license. Virginia is probably one of the hardest states to get a tattoo license in the States, from what I've heard.
So we had on, I don't know if I told you this last time we spoke, but we had on this guy, I believe his name is Keith, but he owns Foundation Tattoo here in Mercury in Newport News,
or Hampton, I think. Before, yeah.
And I think if I remember correctly, because we had him on the pod like 3-4 years ago, but he told me that the guy he bought that shop from, so the shop that was like that was there before he bought it was the first tattoo shop in the 757, and apparently like tattooing was illegal in the 757 like as early as like the 2000s.
Yeah, 2007.
Like tattooing is still pretty new to being legal.
Yeah.
Which that kind of blew my mind. I was
Virginia's kind of far behind, especially the Commonwealth. Like, that's true. In 2007, it was called Fusion Ink on Granby Street. It's now called Tender Heart Tattoo. But that was the first tattoo shop in Norfolk.
2007 is crazy. Like, you think that's some shit that happened in like the 80s or like the 70s or something?
No, yeah. I mean, I give tours of the Neon District, so I know a little bit about it, but that blew my mind. I actually got the date wrong on one of my tours when I first was giving it. Yeah. And of course, there was a dude that was like, I actually remember getting tattooed in like 2010, so that can't be right. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think people were just like tattooing each other like in homes and like tattooing was like it was like the Prohibition era.
It's tattooing. Like apparently in Japan it's like kind of illegal. That's why the onsens, there's only like one that you can go to for tattooed people. So my friend wants me to go to Japan very badly.
Yeah, I've
Very
seen they
fast.
have, and also like when you go to different places, they'll have like what's those different styles? It's like different styles of tattooing where like they don't even use a gun. It'll
No,
be
they have,
like
like, the
the
tap.
stick and all that.
Where you climb like a mountain to meet an old woman and you
Yeah.
spend like a night with her and then she tattoos you all day, like 3 dots.
That's
Then you
crazy.
climb down.
That's I don't know. That's too much of a journey for me.
That's-
I might just go to the regular shop.
Yeah. But there's experiences like that out there. People are getting really creative with it.
So you're giving tours for Norfolk. I saw that on your page. I didn't know if that was like a one-time thing. So is that
No.
like a people can always come and get a tour of Norfolk?
Well, I work for Norfolk Tour Company. So I give tours specifically of the Neon because of the tours that I was giving with the Vibe Creative District of their murals.
Okay.
Apparently someone from the Norfolk Tour Company took a tour, liked it, and then invited me to work for them over there. So I'm still hands in as many pots as I can. I just had to take the last year away to focus heavily, but I'm glad I did.
But these tours are like a year-long thing.
Yeah,
People
I
can come
think
get
that the
tours.
next one that we have is going to be, I want to say either end of July or beginning of September. If you go on norfolktourcompany.com or the Neon page, you can find them and visit Norfolk as well. And I'll be working on potentially giving some haunted tours this fall as well.
What kind of haunted tours?
You give spooky haunted tours where you get to recall like actual facts about Norfolk and maybe I'm not sure if we're doing any Virginia Beach oceanfront ones this year because that's kind of a new concept as they are a Norfolk Tour Company. But I actually have to go to the first practice tour, I believe, in like 1 week where we run through what we're doing. But we're going to go to what's that costume store? Echoes of Time.
In Virginia Beach?
Yes.
Okay.
They're going there to pick out costumes because we're going to be wearing costumes, telling ghost stories, mostly all true. Let's try to do like an obvious wink there because maybe we make one up, but who knows?
We actually did an episode with this guy from out here. It might be cool to get him partnered up with you guys, but he has a brand called WTCW Paranormal.
Oh.
And he's like a paranormal investigator.
Investigator?
Yeah. The crazy part,
Dude.
he's like 19. He's like a young dude. But
That's
he's
so
very like
cool.
well spoken, and you could tell he's passionate about it. I really
Yes.
enjoyed our episode, actually. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's
Check him
wild
out.
because I
think his
love
name is
Ghost
Will.
Adventures.
Yeah.
Ghost Adventures. Zach Bagans.
I don't, but I think he told me about him.
Zach
We went into
Bagans,
like all the people
sunglasses
that do that.
inside at nighttime, belt buckle this big. He does Ghost Adventures. I don't know why that word's so hard right now. And then he had a side show as well, Destinations of the Damned. I love ghost investigations. Love it. I'm going to watch that episode, actually.
Yeah, tap in. It was a fun one.
I definitely will.
So before we even get to that, so basically I did want to say this tattoo shop that you're working at now,
Yes.
it just burned down.
To the ground.
This was like a couple weeks ago.
This was
pretty
about
fresh.
like maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
And you made this long post on Facebook.
Yep.
Like it was like kind of what it meant to you. And from what I understand, it's like totally burnt down and all the artists that were there are at a temporary shop right now.
So most of us are over at Flying Tiger Social Club. Shout out to Randy and his wife Kelsey for letting us be there in their expansion because we had to get back to work immediately. I started the GoFundMe at literally 7 o'clock in the morning in the parking lot while there was still smoke coming out of the building because it was just so shocking. I actually thought that I was still dreaming when we got there because I woke up, got into my coworker's car and was at the shop by like 4:20.
Like you thought it was just a regular day just to work.
No, I thought I was dreaming because I was so tired because I don't wake up at like 4 a.m. I just woke up out of a dead sleep and realized I had like a million missed calls and text messages. And then she was like, "I'm at your house, get in the car." And I went down the road and there was fire trucks and that's what I kind of was, so it took a minute to wake up, obviously, literally. But started the GoFundMe. We got about $20,000 within the first like maybe week and a half to 2 weeks, which is incredible. We had multiple fundraisers hosted by other people because we really didn't have the spoons to do it. And we were able to get every individual artist about like $2,600 or so.
That's fire.
Yeah, so everyone got a basic setup, like just cartridges, a machine, and some ink to get to work.
How many artists work there?
We have 7 total. Yeah, I'll be doing some guest spots. I'll be working at Studio Evolve a little bit in Virginia Beach, and then I'm also looking at doing a guest spot at Tenderheart because kind of like might as well make the best of a bad situation and learn from other people, an opportunity as a brand new tattooer that I really wouldn't get. So
I know that this shop means a lot to you because that's the one that gave you a shot.
Right.
After trying like a decade ago, you finally get a shot somewhere, and then this happens. Can you just tell us a bit about who's like the owner of that place, some
Mike
history
Vasquez.
of that place, how long has it been open?
So, yeah, that's actually really important because it's the first tattoo shop at Virginia Beach Oceanfront ever. There's not been one before that. Like we just said, the area is mostly, it's been pretty conservative, and things like tattoo shops are pretty new. So it took a lot of approval. They did this, I think they've been there for about 2.5, going on 3 years. Not very long at all. Yeah, pretty new.
Oh, wait, so that's the first one in Virginia Beach?
At the oceanfront.
Just the oceanfront. Okay, okay.
Because the oceanfront's strict. You know, they had
That's
henna.
even crazy as fuck, though. 3 years ago, the oceanfront just got a tattoo
The very
shop.
first, and you know, you think about an oceanfront and you're like, there's a tattoo shop, right? There wasn't, though.
They have a bunch of henna
Bunch
places,
of
though.
henna.
The fake tattoo.
Of henna.
They have oxygen bars.
They have an oxygen bar, henna. They do have a piercing shop.
Okay.
And a lot of people thought they could get tattooed at the piercing shop. But so historically speaking, this shop just matters a lot in general, especially being in the Vibe Creative District, because that's going to expand, you know, kind of what they define artists as, I feel. And being someone who's worked with the Vibe Creative District and been a muralist in the area, the transition into being a tattooer at that shop was so, like, interesting. Because I feel like some people kind of were like, you know, what are you doing? Because the mural, it was going so well. And it was a leap of faith completely, because there are some, like, views of tattoo artists, like, from fine artists and vice versa. There's a lot of mixed opinions. So to be somebody that can kind of be, not like the whole bridge, because I don't want to take all that, like, what's the word I'm
responsibility
looking for?
or
Not even responsibility.
weight?
Not like in a positive way. Like, I don't want to take all the credit, right? But it is cool to be in the view of being the bridge in between both worlds. And so that tattoo shop, it's dire that it gets back because it's such a staple and such a big step for the oceanfront, you know?
What are some of those mixed feelings people have, like, with tattoo artists versus fine
I knew you were going to
artists?
ask that too.
In my mind, I feel like some tattooing is more like some underground shit.
Right. I mean, tattooing is like an old craft, but so is muraling. And I think that there's almost this kind of idea, and this is going completely off of my own experiences. I still work in both fields, so I have respect for both. But I literally had some people ask me if I felt like I was selling out, I guess you could say, by becoming a tattooer. And in my mind, after even just a little bit in this industry, I was like, this is like the epitome of fine arts. The expectations of how good of an artist you have to be in tattooing is way above what I was used to. And then with tattooing, I think that they're just really into tattooing. And there's a lot of painters that tattoo as well. There's a lot of muralists that tattoo. So there's a lot of these gaps already happening, overlays, I guess you could say. But I guess I don't really know how to describe the view of tattooers with fine arts, but they almost kind of don't understand the way that fine arts functions in the community. And I don't want to say that they think they're snooty, because I don't want to talk for other people. But both of these worlds are really doing similar stuff, but they're potentially just really into their craft and think that craft should be it kind of vibe.
Tattooing is definitely, I feel like the stakes are way higher.
Stakes are
like
way
you said,
higher.
you can't mess up. You can't just start over. And maybe tattooing is more like a individual thing, like a one-on-one kind of
body work
process. And I feel like with the fine arts and like mural and stuff, you kind of have to be a part of a broader community, and like network more. But if you're a tattoo artist, you maybe could just work at a shop and people would just come in.
Right.
Like you don't have to really be,
because you could also throw your art in a coffee shop too. So that you know, it's really about like the environment that you cultivate for yourself. But I guess that you don't see tattooers working out of museums like the Chrysler and the Met, and maybe that's where that view comes from. Because to be in the fine arts world, you have to execute fine art pieces. And with tattooing, perhaps the boundaries are a little bit more loose, or the standard for themselves is so different that they don't understand the other point of view. I've had a conversation about this with a couple of other people who also work in both worlds, and it's really hard to describe, but the understanding seems to be there.
Has it been hard to balance like doing both?
Absolutely. I had to pretty much give up painting murals for a little while. That's why I was mentioning in the beginning how nice it was that people had kind of reached out to me to get these murals. And the timing was like immaculate because I am taking my test soon. I got approved. So I'm finally at the end of my apprenticeship here. And that's kind of when I started to get more people reaching out for murals. And during the apprenticeship, it was just so incredibly intense. There was no way that I could have delegated time to paint murals because I'm going in at 10:30 a.m. or hopefully 10:30 a.m., setting up my mentor and then maybe setting myself up. And then, an apprenticeship, you're doing a lot of work for free. So I was also then going, most apprenticeships are free because what you're being paid in is your career.
Experience.
Yeah, because they're giving you a career that goes with you forever. Like, it's not just something that stays within 7 cities. After my apprenticeship, after I've given my time a little bit, because you should after you finish your apprenticeship, I can go out into the world and I can work in any country, I can work in any state, and I can take this skill with me. So it's really valuable.
Yeah, well, how are people expected to survive for that? I
would go to work all day. I would get off at 8 p.m., clean, and then I would go into Keegan's at like 9 p.m. and I would work until like 3:45 in the morning, get home, go to bed around 6:30, and wake up at 9:30 and do it again.
That actually sounds crazy. Like, I mean, you would think you have some at least like minimum pay, some type of paycheck. Because at the end of the day, you're also you're an employee at the shop.
Yeah.
It
was hard to explain to my parents. They definitely did not understand. Like,
they're like, wait, what?
But
so
now,
I guess that means like that's something like you have to kind of love to do.
Love
to
is
make
an
it through and actually get a
understatement.
license.
Yeah, I think that once you touch skin and once you start, pretty much instantaneously if it's for you or not. Because either you're like, I'm doing this no matter how poor it makes me, no matter I lost like friendships. My parents were calling me like, hey, are you like alive? Like, do you want to chat?
You're like, man.
My mom's like, what? I couldn't know. Relationships like we're strained, like, and it's a known thing that it will strain relationships because you literally have to dedicate pretty much your entire being to this craft in order to get through the apprenticeship. So grueling over 10-hour days, working through the night just to make your bills, like your ends meet. And then still being happy because you get to do what you love. Yeah, you have to love tattooing to be a tattooer, 100%. And it's like the mental toll that it takes on you as well is something that they don't really tell you about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mental toll of...
I mean, you do something on someone's body and you're like, fuck, I hope they liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like at home zooming into the picture. Something I had to stop myself from doing because I did it every day. Go home and just look at every line and be like, oh my God, like, I hope they're happy. And did they mean it when they said they were happy? And that's like on someone's skin with them forever. So, and it's people trusting you to do the first like 50 to 100 free ones. It's a lot mentally.
The girl messed up on my Haley when I got my Remember tattoo. She messed up a little bit.
Really?
I think she might have been an apprentice, but it's cool. Honestly, I didn't really trip
Tattooing
like that.
is hard as hell.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like when someone hits me up and they're like, can I get a realistic lion with like a clock and then like
some
Jesus flying out of the sky?
Well, me, my problem is I always want a really small tattoo. I like all my tattoos
you
like
want all
quaint,
that detail in a
like
small
and then like every time I want something, I'm like, well, I can't really do that small.
No.
So that's always the issue I find myself when I'm getting tattoos.
Because
like,
it'll just go like...
Yeah.
And then you'll just kind of have like a little blob and you'll be like, oh, this used to be like a sick little like alien head, but now it's like a little
So my first
pepperoni.
tattoo was this earth that I have. Is it on this side?
Oh, yeah, it is.
So, but it's like, it's still a circle. It's fine. But the colors kind of did all blend together inside. Because I got it in like 2017.
Pangea.
So I'm going to go and get like it touched up on the inside. Like, get the continents a little more.
And you can get it touched up a couple times in life. But I think after like the third or fourth time, your skin's going to be like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I enjoy it. Like I said, so my first time ever getting a tattoo was in 2017. And before this,
really?
I was, not like I hated people with tattoos, but I was like, I would never get a tattoo. I was that guy.
You were a hater.
Not a hater, but I was just like, it's not for me. So we went to LA, me and my boy Cameron. And at the time we were out there, like we get to LA, I'm still on the same shit. Like I'm not really trying to get a tattoo. And then the No Jumper store out there, when it was on Melrose at the original location, they had a tattoo artist in there that day, and he was giving out free tattoos.
Oh, man.
So my boy Kim was like, I'll go get one. So we're waiting in line. I'm like, you know what? I'll get one too. So we're waiting in line for like an hour. We get to the front, and then we realize that you can't just get any tattoo. He has like a selection of like free ones you can get. And we didn't like any of those. So we ended up not getting one that day.
Yeah.
But even just like me about to get one, that just gave me the idea. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get one.
Yeah, you got.
So like the next day, we went to another shop and got one. It was cool though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have the video of it from that time.
Really?
Yeah, my boy was like, "Oh yeah, your mom's about to be pissed."
Oh my god, on your neck? Yeah.
Yeah,
probably,
my first tattoo on my neck, and I showed it to her, and then literally what she said, she was like, "Why'd you make it so small?"
Damn.
I was like, damn, I could have snapped.
Imagine you thinking your mom is gonna be like pissed, and she actually just roasts you for the size of your tattoo.
Well, also, me and my mom were supposed to get matching tattoos.
Oh,
so
shit.
I'll show you. And so because her favorite animal is an elephant. So I got this elephant.
Oh yeah.
And she bullshitted. She didn't get it.
She didn't get it?
She didn't get it. But then like 3 years later, her and my dad got matching tattoos.
I don't know what I would do if someone was like, it's gonna happen, where like the other person doesn't get it, and I'm just like, damn. Because I just gotta like clean my station and like just kind of ignore.
Oh, if you're doing it for somebody else?
Yeah. I have, I think I have like one matching tattoo, and it's the dumbest tattoo ever.
Yeah. Have you done like couples tattoos or anything like that? Or
Yeah, for sure, of course.
Have you done it like a girlfriend's or a boyfriend's name, and you're like, I don't know if you should be getting this, bro?
So I've only done a name on someone who was married, which is chill, because like, you know, you're married. Like at least if it ends, you're like, I mean, I was married.
Yeah.
But I actually had a dude hit me up. God, I hope he doesn't watch this. It's okay though.
He wanted to cover up.
No, he was like 19, and he wanted his girlfriend's name across his neck. You know, I'm just looking out at the two viewers. I'm like, do y'all hear this? But he wanted his girlfriend's name on his neck, and it was his first tattoo, and he was 19. And I said, is there anything else that we may want to do before this? Let's talk about it. And
where on his neck though?
Like
on the
probably
side.
Just straight like, and he like a pair of lips, and right here. If you're watching, I'm sorry. I just wanted to be responsible, and I thought that that might be a risky move for the first tattoo.
So you tried to talk him out of it.
Yeah, I don't really do neck, face, and hands for first tattoos. Most people have that policy. It's just how I was taught, so that's what I do.
I've seen that too, where a shop won't do like a neck tattoo or a face.
Not like, and like a face tattoo, oh boy, you gotta be so tattooed. I'm so new. I would be so scared.
So did this guy get what he came for?
He actually didn't show up for he decided that he was going to do his mother's name right here instead. And I was like, bet, okay, cool. Let's make it crazy. Like do a little like script, get a little freaky with it. And he didn't show up. He did tell me 3 hours later that he was sorry he didn't show up. So it wasn't like complete ghost, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
I feel like with neck tattoos, which I'm about at that limit, I feel like it's a fine line between creative and artistic and like hoodlum. Like
if you're doing a name
if you get a certain amount, you start looking like a thug,
like this.
And it's just like.
This is why. What are we doing? Because you got all this beautiful space and flow of your body, and it just like looks crazy when it's like that. Maybe just make it like that. Something. I'm not against like names. If I had a cooler last name, I would probably blast it.
See, if you get your girl's name on your neck and y'all break up, at that point, you just got to date a girl with the same name.
You have to.
You got to like go on Tinder and like must be named Chrissy. Like, more locked in.
Seriously though, like, because she's going to tell you to cover it up.
Yeah.
Can I move this forward a little bit?
For sure. Yeah, do your thing. Get comfortable.
Cool.
I also saw that you were the featured artist for, is it Bloomstock?
Oh yeah, that's my second year doing Bloomstock.
Yeah, what is that? I saw that you did a community mural and you invited people to add their like own thing to it. How did that work?
Yeah, so for community murals, I've kind of got it down to a science, but they're always different.
Yeah.
Does it have to be?
Let me try.
Sorry. See?
No, I think this thing is just loose. It's like falling down. Let me get you right.
I thought that I knocked into it too many times, to be honest.
No, you're good. We just have a ghetto setup.
It looks legit.
It works. It gets the job done.
Is this it right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go. So Bloomstock happened in 2024. It's happening again. It's the Girls at Bloom Beauty Bar. And they're doing it at New Realm this year on June 28th. It's like an all-day, it's basically like a cutie little local hippie music festival.
Oh, so this hasn't happened yet?
This year, no. That picture is actually from the Liquid Art Festival by Commonwealth and in partnership, I believe, with Mocha for the Boardwalk Art Show. That's just something I got hired for like last year, and it's a good promo photo. But
the one that says featured artist, it's like
that picture of me painting is from when I just did a live painting, and I just liked it. But I have a lot of pictures on my page for the community mural.
I went to their page. Is that the one? So this hasn't happened. Is that the one where they're having a mullet contest?
Yeah.
That's June 28th.
Yes, they had it. They always have a mullet contest. Is like the most important part. And I've seen some crazy mullets there too, like crazy, like little kids that got like the curly cues in the back, like Ricky Bobby, or not Ricky Bobby, the other dude. Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt. We got to watch that. I haven't seen that in like years.
Watch that and think about like a 9-year-old with that.
Also, we don't have Karen here today, but since you've been here last, we have a TV. So like we'll usually pull stuff up there. So I would be pulling up pictures of mullets.
Mullets.
We'll
like 50
edit
different
it
mullets. Yes. They'll just be like, wow, wow, wow. Yeah. But Bloomstock is it's just like a little music festival that they put on. They've been doing this, I want to say, sorry ladies if I'm wrong, like 6 years. So I'm a new addition into it, but I just kind of show up, I map out a big community mural, and I literally set up a table with colors with a paintbrush in each one, and it's numbered. It's like paint by numbers on a large scale, and people can have a little bit of fun with it, but kids can do it, adults do it, and then by the end you have like a nice backdrop.
Oh, so you don't actually paint anything. It's a blank canvas.
I clean it up at the end, but I map everything out. So there's like, it literally looks like a massive like coloring page.
Oh, you have a design. That's
I draw the design. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I'll be doing a live painting as well. I don't know if it's too early to announce this, but the Ignite at Chrysler. So they're doing one in July 25th. It's I'm not gonna say the theme though, because that's like giving away too much. They haven't announced it yet, so I'll wait for them to announce it. Unless you already know.
Well, I have wrote down. This might be one that have you done one there before where the theme was ink? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, yeah. That was crazy. We could talk about that if you wanted to.
Sure.
But I did the last one.
The Bloomstock one is June 28th.
June 28th is Bloomstock. I'm doing a community mural. I think it's really important for kids and adults especially to get creative, even if it is something that's that simple. And I like it because there's not like a high pressure on people to create an image and be like good at art. So it's just nice to activate like the creative brain.
Okay, so you have that coming up. You also will be at Ignite at Chrysler again. That's in July.
Yes, and I'll be doing a live painting.
Live painting.
Yes.
And I think that's what you did last time. So I wrote that down too. So the theme was ink, and you were like, your two worlds collided.
Yes, they really did. It was pretty crazy. So they asked me to be a live painter at the Chrysler for the event that was called Inked. They've been doing the Ignite events on like Thursdays and Fridays just to activate the museum at nighttime. I met a bunch of tattooers. That's when I met the people from Studio Evolve. There was people from Norfolk shops, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach. And it was cool because that was kind of my first time doing like a public painting thing as a tattooer. And it was cool that they had like a mini convention essentially like set up in the Chrysler where people were really being tattooed. And it was a cool event.
This reminds me of what we spoke about earlier in the podcast where you don't really see tattooers in these like fine art
right, and now you're starting to, and I wonder why that is.
Why is that?
I don't know. I really don't know, but I think it's so cool because tattooing, like I said before, is like a really like high skill and very dedicated craft. They're artists. And most of them, just to like kind of throw it back for a second, I should have said this earlier, but the studio, when it burned down, we lost like a lot more than just a workspace. That was also our personal like painting studio. I think I lost like a total of maybe 7 original paintings because we had like our easels there, our paint setups, and we spend all day in these studios. We're not always tattooing when we're in there. So it's like a home away from home, honestly. But to see tattooing in like museums like the Chrysler that have this credibility, it's interesting to see where it's going and to hear everybody like that are OGs in the tattoo scene around here speak that night. It was really cool. Yeah.
What were they like? Who were some guest speakers there? What were they saying?
These are people that I just met that night, so I would have to reflect on the notes that I took about that night because I actually took notes because I was like, all right, I got to remember that. But they were just talking about tattooing being something that they did like mention that it was illegal previously and it becoming legal and how it's a craft that's always been around, and just talking about, I wrote a lot down that resonated with me personally, especially about like the full life dedication and how these people are like completely dedicated to their craft, and the community in tattooing that they talk about is incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that it was illegal so like short, like such a short while ago.
Yeah.
But then also it's interesting how like the public perception of it has changed. Because like I'm 29 too, so I remember being just from when I was a kid to now, like jobs weren't hiring people with tattoos.
Yeah.
Like you were like kind of like looked down upon as like this like like grungy member of society because you had tattoos, or like you weren't smart or you weren't professional.
100%.
Or, you know what I mean?
Nurses couldn't get tattoos on their hands and necks, and now that's like some of our most like frequent clients. Navy.
Nurses are your most frequent clients?
Nurses and military and general baddies, but a lot of nurses and military, because I don't know why. I guess they've got money.
I can see military.
Yeah. But they, even in the Navy, the rules got a little bit lighter. What was it? Maybe within like less than 10 years.
Were you not allowed to have tattoos in the Navy?
I think that the rules were a lot more strict.
Okay.
And now it can go down to like a certain part of your wrist. You can't have your hands, but the rules have lightened up a lot in the military as well. Yeah. And like being a CEO and being tattooed is so much more common than it used to be. And I agree heavily with that.
Yeah, I mean, our generation is definitely be a bunch of tatted grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
I was just talking to this. I was buying cigarettes the other day, and the girl that was working there, she was like asking about my gauges. And I was like, yeah, I tried to take them out for like a couple of years at one point, but it didn't really close up much. So I put them back in. And I was like, at this point, I'm probably just going to be like a grandpa with gauges.
Or floppy ears.
Yeah, that looks weird. I might as well just keep the gauges in.
I got these little saddles in there, and I just like to jazz it up. I got a bunch of stuff going on. I got a little chain over here.
Is that a gauge?
Dangly. Yes.
The gold one?
Stretched.
Okay, yeah.
It's a saddle, and I can put stuff in it, but I actually like the look of like weights that pull a little
Weights?
bit.
Yeah, I've been kind of on this vibe for a while. It's crazy because I actually got my gauges in like 10th grade, maybe like 9th grade.
Oh, yeah, that was the time. I'm 29 as well.
Yeah, but
So
like
that was
me,
the
I
vibe.
don't know how you did it, but I kind of did it a very irresponsible way because I upsized like very fast. I got to this size in
Yeah.
like a month or two.
That's insane.
Like I remember my boy doing it. Like he had the taper. It was like from small to like big, and he just went crazy. I skipped like 5 sizes.
Did you hear a pop?
Heard a pop. Didn't even use like lube. Like,
Oh
didn't
my
even,
God,
like,
bro.
It was dry.
I'm surprised you still have your whole ear,
Crazy.
to be honest.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use medical tape, obviously, and put like one piece every like, I don't know, 2 weeks minimum.
What do you mean?
Like you're supposed to add a piece of medical tape onto the plug.
Oh, I thought you could just buy like a
The
little,
tapers
little bigger.
were like how you
taper?
used to do it,
Yeah.
but I was told that was, I don't know, I've done it every way. I've done it in all the wrong ways and the right ways. I'm pretty sure that one of my ears is probably a little blown out. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're fine now.
At one point, I think this one got like a little cut like right here when I was doing
Yeah.
it, but it's fine now.
They're still on your head.
Yeah.
And they're there.
I used to have the tunnels, like, you know, the tunnels with the diamonds around it. That was my vibe for like 5 years.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah, they would screw on.
Yeah.
And you would get it stuck, and then you would have to invite your friend over to help you try to get it off. That's what
need to get
happened to
off.
me.
The thing I don't like about gauges is the smell. Like, no matter how much you clean it, it always has that certain smell.
Not these ears.
Oh, yours are good?
Never.
How are you cleaning your gauges?
I mean, I take them out every night. I never sleep with them in.
Really?
Never.
I might just be dirty then. I don't know.
He looks at his
I clean it, like in
girlfriend.
the shower and stuff, but I mean,
In the
I sleep
shower
with
is
them.
good. You know,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. No.
So you're doing these live paintings, you're doing these different events.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been doing like murals everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
like since we spoke last, like you've been doing a lot of shit.
That is, yeah. I feel like the growth from the last time we spoke, I was actually kind of like checking out the last episode we did, just thinking about like how different I think and everything that's happened. I've worked with like the city of Suffolk, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and now Chesapeake coming up, hopefully Portsmouth.
Yeah, what's coming out with Chesapeake?
They have a satellite fleet maintenance building that they just built, and they want to make it a little prettier.
Satellite fleet maintenance,
like school buses, plows, things like that. It's where they get their maintenance, and it's where they store them. But they have this like massive building with blank walls everywhere. So I'll be painting the entrance of that. They reached out to me.
The city of Chesapeake reached out, or that place?
Yes, yeah. The woman representing that building, but she's a city worker. So yes, city of Chesapeake said, hey.
That's fire.
Yep.
I feel like you and D. Kane might be like the top 2 muralists out here right now, as far as like just amount of work in the city.
Man, who else I'm going to blush a little bit just hearing that.
Who else? Some of your favorite muralists that are doing like a lot of work?
My favorite muralist right now?
In the area, though.
Obviously, Amy Bruce, because High on Your Supply. She's the one that did the hands on Mount Trashmore. She actually has those stairs from Mount Trashmore since they did all that remodeling. I believe she has there's 92 of them, and she has them in storage.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But
I got to tap in with her. I'm going to get her Instagram before you leave.
High on Your Supply, Amy Bruce. Yes, she's a good friend of mine. She has so much work. She's got work as far as like MacArthur Mall. And then she's worked with the Portsmouth Mural Festival that Matt Diggs helped put on, which had its 2nd year this year. So it's beautiful to see a mural festival in Portsmouth, kind of stretching out just outside of Norfolk and Virginia Beach, you know. Who else? I really enjoy the work of Night Owl, Michael Broth. He's actually a Richmond artist, but I saw his work at Mellow Mushroom. Like 2 years ago, he let me come to Richmond and see his studio. And he's a super successful artist. I mean, he's worked all across the country. Check his work out sometime. The Night Owl. Yeah, I got all of them for you.
Yeah, I think last time you were saying like your goal was to start doing like bigger canvas pieces that you can like live off of.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've gotten to that point, and I think you wanted to work with Dunkin' Donuts really bad at the time.
I did say that because you said you had a commercial. No, but the thing is, like I said, the apprenticeship like put a halt on everything. So it's not off the table. It's not off the table. I wanted to work with Starbucks a little bit, but I don't know, they got a little weird.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like Starbucks has done some controversial things. Like
some people aren't fucking with them right now because they support Israel.
One of the things they've done, though, because then during the BLM protests, didn't they have like some employees who were wearing pins and then they had them take them off? And it was like a public, they were like, they made me take my pin off.
I don't remember that, but honestly.
And then they were like, oh, no.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But like, honestly, if you're like a business, like, why you gotta get political? If I'm selling coffee, I want to sell coffee to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not coming to you for your political views, Starbucks.
Well,
just make the coffee.
They are, I don't really know. I feel like they're kind of like Target in the sense, you know how Target really like talks a lot during Pride Month and they really profit off of like small artists. They're loud during Pride Month and they're loud during just representation of minorities, and it doesn't feel necessarily super genuine, but like, when it comes to talking about corporations that are mega corporations, how good can they really be? And then, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I think no matter what your stance is on certain things, it's going to be a certain percentage of people that don't agree with you.
Oh, of course.
So like, why
You're never going to hit it 100%
why are you singling out your
head.
customers?
Yeah.
Just make coffee.
I don't know.
That's like if I'm calling the firefighter to come save my burning house. I don't care what you believe, bro.
Yeah.
Just save my fucking house. Save my dog. It's in the house.
Save my dog.
I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you like BLM, whatever it is. Just please save my dog.
I gotta say, though, no coffee for the hateful people, though. We don't support hate. No hate.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Starbucks.
I remember at the last time I was drinking Dunkin' Donuts a lot at that time. I've recently switched to Wawa since then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's actually
Wawa's
crazy.
good, though.
At that time I was smoking cigarettes and drinking iced coffee on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Now I'm vaping and drinking hot coffee.
Wow.
So I'm like mature now.
You're like mature. Okay. No, that's a step up for sure.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on the iced coffee.
I don't know. I used to be a Dunkin' girl. You gotta move forward at one point.
So I might have told you this last time too, but like making a piece of content and like getting all your friends and people that know you to tag that company.
Yes.
That works. That's worked for me a few times.
Just getting their attention.
Yeah, to get their attention and then like they'll check you out, and if you're actually fire, they'll reach out.
Yeah. I actually got a hold of Celsius The drink,
Yeah.
because I love them, and I reached out and I was like, I make content. I consume your beverage during this content. Let's talk about sponsorships. And then they were like, I talked it up like I was like a huge, like had like 10K followers kind of vibe. And then they're like, all right, give us your Instagram. And I was like, fuck. Okay, here it is. And then the next email was pretty much, thank you for your interest, but we're not interested right now. I'm not popping enough is essentially what they said, but I'll be back, Celsius and Liquid Death. If I could be sponsored by somebody, it would probably be Celsius and Liquid Death.
Yeah,
Maybe.
see, I'm big on getting sponsored by things I actually enjoy, like things I actually like.
Yes,
I wouldn't want to just get like some random product. You know what I mean?
As a vegetarian, am I going to be sponsored by beef jerky? No.
Are you a vegetarian?
Yes, but people are going to watch this and be like, I've seen you eat crab legs. I slipped into the pescatarian waters because I had a taste of the sea.
Shame on you.
I know.
I was like,
well, I think they're looking hairy right now. So, like, if we only got what we got and I'm not eating crab legs, but maybe I'll go full veg and get strict with it again in the future. But crab legs are a temptation that are difficult to resist.
See, as far as seafood, I'll eat like fish and stuff. I never really got into like all the other crazy stuff.
Is it too much work?
Maybe. It does seem a little like a lot of work. And then, I don't know. Why do people boil crabs when they're alive? I'll see these videos online and they're just
I don't know.
Bro just chilling. He's live.
I would cry if I saw that. I don't want to. I just want the legs.
Knock him on the head a little bit first?
No. Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe.
Knock him out or something?
Right. Like, at least give them, like, can they get knocked out like that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Something about them being fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't partake in the murder part.
Yeah.
I
So
just
you're
help.
a vegetarian.
Yeah.
So Celsius and Liquid Death, that's your
Yeah.
go-to.
I was so
if
close.
you could get a sponsor, it's them.
So close to the sun with Celsius, but I didn't have what they needed for a relationship to begin. So hopefully I can give them that in the future.
Clout chasers. That's crazy.
They'll see me on this and they'll be like, we didn't know she was on Off-World twice.
Get her the deal.
Y'all slipped up, but I'm still open to striking a deal. I'm open.
I feel like companies are trying to work more with smaller creators now.
Yeah,
like, niche. That's really the way to go.
Right.
Because honestly, with today, like, there's very few, if none at all. Like, there's not really anything that everybody watches. Like, everybody has their own thing. Like, whatever your interests are, you're gonna watch. You're gonna have an influencer or like a YouTuber that's on that.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even think mainstream exists anymore. So now it's about just like, if you're a company, finding this niche audience that is like the same demographic as your audience.
Yeah, and community leaders
work together. Yeah.
Like, community leaders have so much more of an impact that's direct on like the people that they're working with every day. Like, if you started drinking Bloom, the energy drink, and you're talking about it on Off-World all the time, you're posting it all the time, and then maybe like Gabe starts drinking it and he starts posting it all the time. Not that I think he would do that, but that could be something where they could be like, oh, this is a direct influence right here. This person is worth sponsoring, even though they don't have I don't know how many followers you have. I assume it's...
we just hit 5,000 on Instagram.
Okay, yeah. I knew it had to be kind of way more than me, but that's
what are
amazing.
You at?
I think that I'm at 22...
100 or 1,000?
100.
Okay.
No, not yet. I will be, though.
Okay.
I'll surpass that, too. I have high hopes for my future. Always have.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in you. But
I think that supporting local community leaders is more valuable for brands nowadays.
I agree. It's like, I mean, really, what is... Every state in this country, every city is made up of its own local scene.
Yeah.
I talk about this all the time, and I just kind of compare it to the creative scene.
Yeah.
Like, we all want to go viral, and we all want to, like, reach, like, the whole country. And, like, it's like this mysterious element in going viral, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like if you really take a step back and look, every city has its own underground scene, and, like, the mechanics work the same. Like, all these scenes are the same. They're just made up of different people in different areas.
Right.
So, like, you can... A hack to, like, get known in other places, instead of trying to just rely on the algorithm and just go viral, you could just build connections with these people in all these different areas.
Consistency, too.
Consistency. So, like, as a company, whatever this Bloom energy drink, okay, let me just go to every market and build a relationship with somebody and get them on board.
I started
and now
with
I'm
markets.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
I started with the markets. Like, I started with makers markets, not just art markets. That's why I started hosting Creatives and Drafts. I gave you that sticker last time.
I remember that. Are you still doing that?
I am, but it's been on a hiatus because of the apprenticeship. But the 10th one is the next one.
What was that again? Wasn't it kind of like an open mic, but for like painters? Like how did that work?
It's a pop-up. And it's just like a pop-up, like you would go to a market where you have tables and they're selling their goods, but it's only visual fine arts. So that doesn't, like fine arts being loose, obviously it can be whatever that artist makes, but it's, I didn't see the place for just painters and like visual artists because they were always mixed in with like a candle maker, a jewelry maker, which is, we need all of these people, but I made a more niche platform for people to get together. And it's helped a lot of artists with their first time vending art and selling art ever. So I don't know the exact number of the amount of people where it was their first time doing that, but there's been at least 2 per each show, and there's been 9. So the next one will be the 10th.
What is some advice or like some tips you would give someone that's kind of first starting to sell their art or their pieces?
It's vulnerable. You're going to feel like you're putting a lot of vulnerability on the table, and that's fine because you're not the only person to do it, and other people are right next to you that are willing to support you through that fear. And you kind of have to push through that and understand that people are going to appreciate and connect with the art that you're putting out there. And I think that it's important to realize as well that like when people make comments like anyone can make that art, well, you're the one that's taking the extra step and time and dedication and effort to go execute the action of selling it. So even that one step, even if it's the only time you do it, it matters.
Oh, it's like if somebody's like hating on the actual design. Like anybody can paint that tree.
Yeah, some people think that simplistic art, abstract art has always been necessary, always will be necessary. And if anyone could do it, then they would be. But I always like to say that it's not necessarily like talent. People like to say you're so talented, right? But the talent is really just the motivation to go ahead and make it and execute it and bring it to life, And not everybody has that. The natural motivation is what has to exist. The talent comes from consistency and dedication.
Building on that feeling you have of like just doing it.
Being someone who does it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what separates people, artists that are out there doing it, from other people who can't get past that hurdle or don't have the motivation.
See, I always considered myself like more ambitious than talented. Like I don't know, I may have a talent. I'm not really sure what it is, but like I just like certain things, and then I just obsess over it, and then I do realize like if you do things more, like eventually like you get better and better.
Oh, for sure.
And you just get more comfortable doing it.
Yeah. No, literally, yeah. You have to take the first step. And taking the first step, and that's what's going to define whether or not you're really that talented artist. Were you born with that natural motivation that is required to take, because you're going to get shot down. You're going to get shot down. You're going to want to give up. There's a group called 757 Create, and recently someone in that group actually asked, there's a lot of vulnerability. We're all artists. And they were like, what do I do when I just really want to give up? And sorry, no one's buying my art.
If you'd like some water, by the way.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm going to take a quick sip.
I always forget to tell my guests
I saw
the water is for them. And then like the whole episode happens. I'm like, oh yeah, that was for you, by the way.
I thought I could just keep clearing my throat and it would stop.
No,
and it didn't. I actually wanted to bring cough drops, not because I'm sick, but because I was like, that's going to be embarrassing.
You were sick last week, yeah.
Did you hear my voice note? I was like, the only way he's going to get this.
That's why I was like, let's just move it up. Well, why do that? I want to get back to what you're saying, but on vulnerability, I kind of fell in love with vulnerability from watching open mic stand-up. I spoke about this on the show like a while ago, but so all the stand-up I've seen before I went to open mic, which you might have been with me at Venue on 35th that one time. So like I'm just used to seeing like polished stand-up acts, like professionals. They go up there, every joke is hitting. They've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
We go to open mic and you're seeing these like upcoming comedians, and you're seeing them like be very vulnerable because they don't know if that joke's gonna work. And then like if it doesn't work, it's like an awkward silence. And
your
like,
first show's supposed to be the hardest one as a comedian, right?
So I really like. It's like a different level of vulnerability when you're seeing like up and coming people, like versus like a seasoned professional.
Yeah. And as someone who was able to push past that and put my stuff out there and has been shot down and told, maybe that's not what people are looking for, and had artwork not sell that I've held on to for 5 years, helping people past that point of vulnerability is something I pride myself in. And that's why that art show that I host, Creatives and Drafts, exists. Because that's kind of why I make art, you know, just that I always talk about the grand human experience and how we all share it. And just knowing that someone else has been in your shoes can be what helps you through that kind of weird moment, you know?
What did that person from 757 Create say? That's what you were saying.
Oh, yeah. They said that they basically were just asking, like, I want to give up. I can't make money off of this. You know, I'm discouraged as hell. How do you make it through this? Like, such a vulnerable thing to come out and ask. And everyone had their own narrative. There it is.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I promise. You're good.
My response was, because they were like, how do you stay on top of it and balance work life? Because obviously, just like any creative endeavor or big leap of faith, you're going to have to do another job while you ease into it. And a lot of creatives still need other forms of income as we work to make being a full-time artist a normalized job, which it is. But I was talking about scheduling. Like, my schedule book would probably maybe give someone a heart attack. It's so planned out. But that's how I was able to work as an apprentice, as a tattooer, and then still execute murals and be a tour guide in 2 areas and also do a little bit of bartending on the side. It's a lot, and it can be really overwhelming if it's not planned out properly. Did I have to sacrifice a little bit of my social life? A little bit, yeah, especially at certain times. But it was able to give me the life that I wanted, you know?
You gotta take that chance. You gotta take the risk.
You have to, because even if I ended up, you know, so poor working in 3 different kitchens, I still get to die saying that I tried. And with a creative, you know, you don't want to live with the what if of that. That what if feels too heavy. That what if felt like more of a risk than being flat broke for most of my 20s.
Fire. Corinna Elise.
Elise, yes.
Corinna, I'm sorry.
You're good.
I appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Anything else you want to leave the people with?
Yes.
Got a few different events coming up.
Yeah, and also,
go ahead.
The one thing, though, that I wanted to mention while I was here was the most interesting difference that we've had in this conversation and the first conversation that we had was that I remember being like, no gatekeeping. I'm going to crush gatekeeping. And you were like, well, I've actually heard a counterpoint that sometimes gatekeeping is okay, and here's why.
Okay, what'd I say? Because I don't even remember.
You were talking about something you had read, because you do your research.
Okay.
And
I do slight research.
more than I did.
Okay.
But just talking about gatekeeping and how, to an extent, sometimes gatekeeping can be kind of a positive thing in protecting things.
Yeah.
And after literally like selling my soul to tattooing and then doing murals the right way in ways that they have the 10-year lifespan that they're expected to have, and grueling through that apprenticeship, and it was difficult, you know, but thinking about someone doing that out of their garage and not going through the proper steps to learn and having such a high, like an incredibly high respect for the craft of tattooing, my tune has changed on gatekeeping a little bit.
You like gatekeeping now?
I don't like it, but I'd see where a little touch of it can be necessary in certain communities, especially in protecting a craft and protecting the
standards.
The standards.
Yeah.
And there's like another word that I can't think of that would be perfect, but just the integrity. There we go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just got to talk through it. But the integrity of a craft is important to keep. And while I'm so willing to help anyone who wants to get into a new craft, whether that, you know, mostly muraling, because I can't teach tattooing as a new tattooer, but I kind of get it now because you want to see it done right and respected as a craft so that it can be a long-term goal for people as a real job.
Well, like the thing is with gatekeeping, like people will, obviously you can be doing something for 10 years and then somebody could be doing it for 1 year and they can already be better than you.
Oh, for
so
sure.
It's not a skill or a talent thing.
No.
I think it's about just like respecting
a respect
the game,
of the craft. It's
right?
literally just comes down to respect. It does not, I've seen people, my coworker, the other apprentice that without her, I would not have made it through this apprenticeship. Her name is Elena Rivera. She goes by Miss Undead Tattoos, and she's also on the Seven Cities page. Her doing the apprenticeship literally right next to me got me through, but she is so good. She's just been keeping this like talent, right? There's that word again. She's been keeping that like under wraps for years, because the second she was finally given that opportunity that she's wanted all her life, she is an incredible tattooer. Like her design and her like skill set, crazy. So sometimes people can be really, really good right off the rip, but as long as you're respecting the craft. And I know that now. So now I view things a little, I'm given the information, but I'm not going to like spill every last bean to everyone all the time.
Sometimes you gotta learn shit on your own. Sometimes you gotta go through the motions.
You gotta keep the beans sometimes.
Come on, keep the beans. Thank you very much.
No worries.
People can find you at Bloomstock. That's June 28th.
Yep.
Ignite at Chrysler. That's July what?
25th.
And are you like? Can people reach out to you to buy pieces? Or are you selling pieces right now? Or
I'm always selling art. Okay. Always. I'm always down for commissions.
Or hiring you to do a mural.
Hiring me for murals.
Yeah.
My commissions for murals are open in the fall. I will be doing a solo show at the Garage in Virginia Beach in October. It'll be probably my second ever solo show. If you want to see what's in that, stay tuned. The GoFundMe for my shop's rebuild is linked in the Seven Cities Instagram bio. You can find it in my bio, and you can find both of my Instagrams probably in this information below this video, because I have two of them, one for murals and one for tattooing. And other than that, yeah, come on down to the solo show.
Yeah, check out everything she has going on. If you can, definitely donate to the GoFundMe, help the shop get back on its feet.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.